塞这儿吗？
可以，
谢谢。我叫 Tim， 你叫什么名字？
我叫朝阳。
很高兴认识你。
很高兴认识你。
你是哪里人？
我从中国来的，我在合肥出生的。
我就在中国。
你出国？
对。
住在哪里？
在双津，还有海淀。
海淀。
对。我在那儿教英文。
教英文。
对。Just to show you guys that I can still speak Mandarin. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. TMax here. I am joined by my new friend Ginny. Ginny and I we met up online. I was looking for Chinese people to talk to, and she appeared. The universe presented her to me, and I've always wanted to do this vlog about why I moved to China. And now that I've been back in the US, I keep getting this question: why did you even move there? And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. So, why did you move to China?
So there are 4 reasons. My introduction to Chinese culture and the language was Jackie Chan movies. And I remember when I was like 9 or 10, my dad took me to see Jackie Chan's First Strike, and I started watching his older stuff. And all those movies take place in China. And I don't know if you know, but Chinese movies are based like way in the past, so it's that like real, authentic Chinese culture. And so it is really interesting to me because it's not something we have in the US. Learning more about the language and culture from karate movies made me want to learn the language. And so, yeah, I said one day I'm gonna just learn Chinese one day so I can watch these movies without subtitles or without the dubbing. I don't know if you ever watched them. The dubbing is horrible. Like the mouth it moves like for 10 minutes and they say one word in English, or vice versa. They say how, and then like there's this long English explanation. So I was like, that can't be what they're saying. Before moving to China, I lived in Europe for about 10 years, and I traveled quite a bit there, and I picked up French and Spanish in Europe. And after you learn one language, one foreign language, you kind of get a rhythm. You're like, I can learn another one. And if you learn a second one, then you really think you're intelligent. But when I actually got to China and started learning it, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever learned in my life. There was a list of top 10 languages spoken in the world. And English was number 1, Spanish was number 4, French was number 5, Portuguese I think was up there. So I was like, you know what, I should learn the top 5 languages. And number 2 was Mandarin. I was like, you know what, yeah, it's on the top 5. If I learn the top 5 languages, I can probably talk to anybody in the world, right? I've always loved traveling, and so I traveled around Europe for about 2 years, and I got to see a lot of Europe. But I started making trips to Africa, started making trips to Asia, and I was like, oh man, it'd be nice to tour these continents, but it's much easier if you live in that continent. I said, one day I'm going to move to Asia, and since I already want to learn Chinese, why not just move to China? So that's part of why I moved to China, because I knew I would learn the language there, but then I'd be able to travel to Korea, Japan, Thailand, wherever, because I'm closer, and the flights should be cheaper. The thing I liked about Europe was it's not that big compared to the US or China, but there's so many different cultures like in a small location. So I was in Belgium. If you drive 2 hours in any direction, you're in a new country. New language, new food, people look a little bit different. And that just, blew my mind. There was like, I can't believe, there's people can be so different, so close. So I thought I had experienced all the culture shock there possibly was. And so when I got to China, I was like, I won't have any culture shock. I had more culture shock in just like my first week in China than my whole 10 years in Europe. Which is great, and I love culture, and so I didn't know my culture shock was going to be that big, but I knew the culture would be different. I knew I would get something new and interesting.
You went to China for like 3.5 years?
Yeah.
So why did you stay for so long?
The original plan, I think, was 5 years, and that was just based on the language, because I didn't know how hard it would be, and I wanted to give myself some time. It took me 1 year to learn Spanish, so I'm basing it off of that. So I got to China and, tried to start learning Chinese, and I found out how difficult it was, and I realized, okay, yeah, I have to live here longer. There's no way I'm going to be able to leave if I really want to learn this language. But then I also started meeting people, making friends, and this guy's from Hebei, and she's from Anhui or Jiangsu. You got to go to my hometown. Everybody wants you to go to their hometown. And I love traveling, so I'm like trying to make these trips and just there was just so much to do. Honestly, time just kind of was flying by. It was like I'm doing life in China and I'm loving it and didn't even realize how long I had been there. Also, I like to do sports and fitness, train with TMax in the link below. So I started this workout group in Beijing and people would come. And it was a way for me to practice my Chinese because I would coach in Chinese. I need clients for personal training. I was doing it for free in the park, so they, the Chinese, they want to give back. Nobody wants anything for free. Like you can't treat a Chinese person to dinner. They're gonna try to pay. And so I'm, giving these workouts for free. So they would like bring me gifts from like their hometown, something from that culture, so you can experience it. And it's more authentic than buying it from the store or looking it up online. They're like, in my hometown we do it like this, and
they're so like proud of their where they're from.
Yes, and they want to share it with you. And so that's another reason I kept meeting people. And in any country, there's racism, there's bad people, whatever. And they're like, oh, did you go through all that? And I was like, honestly, I felt like a superstar. Like everywhere I went in China, people just treated me like I was a celebrity. And I don't know if this is because I always tried to speak Chinese.
They get really impressed when you speak Chinese.
Yeah, it's very impressive. I was like, oh, ni hao.
You know Chinese?
You can speak our whole entire language. I'm like, yeah. I said hi. And then when I learned Chinese humility, that like won everybody over. And so like in the West, we, oh wow, you're really good. Well, I work pretty hard at it. We accept the compliment. In China, you cannot, no matter what the compliment is, you cannot accept it. You have to like downplay yourself.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that, and I think that was endearing.
They loved it even more.
Exactly. They're like, oh, you're the best, and I was like, no, I'm not the best.
Yeah.
China's huge, and I knew it was a big country, but I didn't realize how big it was. I wanted to travel and see everything, and it was taking longer. And then, of course, I went to see outside of China. So, I went to Japan and Korea and Thailand, to see these surrounding countries, and I still hadn't finished seeing all of China yet, and I still haven't seen all of China. If it weren't for, world events, I would still be in China.
It's like a really amazing experience.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it, and I recommend it to people. Some people say, oh man, is it worth it? Like, should I go to China? And I was like, I recommend everybody in the world visit for sure.
Right.
Living is not for everybody. Some people just, culture shock's not for everybody. But you have to go there, at least experience it. Just a week or two. If that's all you can do, it's still worth it.
I was born in Anhui, Hefei, and my first language was Mandarin. But my parents wanted to go to America for their further education, and they knew that they wanted to have our family in America. So they brought me when I was 2.5 years old. When I got to America, this is a funny story, I didn't tell you.
Okay.
But I was like the most confident little kid, like short little Asian kid ever. I went up to strangers and I was like, 你好大了. That means, how old are you? This white boy, like older than me, taller than me, bigger than me, was like scared of me because I was like so bold.
Nice.
But that was, I was just so excited. And when I came home, my parents told me that I said, wow, today I saw so many foreigners. So, I grew up in America, Metro Detroit, Michigan. And my family constantly moved us back and forth just so I could understand my culture and get close to my extended relatives in China. So we moved back for my kindergarten, moved back for my middle school years, and then we started going back every summer during my high school.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I spent 1 year in China as study abroad in my college program, but then I just preserved my speaking ability, writing,
Okay.
from there.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. So if you like her story and you want to see more of Ginny, put us a comment below, and we'll feature her in some more videos. She speaks French as well, so we're gonna do some multi-language stuff. So be on the lookout for all of that.
We're just talking, and you never know who you're gonna meet. So this is Lily. We just met her today. She's from Shanghai.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
我为什么会来美国呢？因为我有很长的一段历史，等于说，因为我们家本来呢是比较好的 family， 通过文化大革命以后呢，就 突然之间就 drop 了。然后说我是 teenage 嘛，我只有10几岁，人家就吵架呀，赶出来呀，从一个很大的房子就变成一个很小的房子，然后我们9个人搬到一个只有12平米的一个地方。对呀，only how many 200 square feet maybe。如果你们喜欢我们的故事的话，你可以上网订阅啊，或者分享啊，或者点赞啊，都可以上这个网站。
我住在，我出生在合肥，安徽合肥。I'm so awkward. I'm so awkward. I haven't.
合肥是
合肥
是一个城市呢？
城市对。
I said no. I'm thinking French. Sorry. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
再来。